In this session, we're going to be running through the PowerShell best practices. Now, there are a number of different best practices that we recommend. We'll do a high-level overview. So it includes understand the core concepts, using a code executor, understanding the code requirements. Can this task actually be performed manually? Have a mindset where we are automating routine processes and daily tasks. Repurposing the existing code, making sure that we are adding comments. Avoid using the use of aliases. Make sure that we are testing our script with sample data in a test environment. Learning from other scripters, testing out new ideas, and most importantly, getting help and practicing. Here we'll be covering more details as to the PowerShell best practices. So the first thing we mentioned is for you to understand the core concept. So by that, quite often one of the things that I notice is that a number of PowerShell scripters will deep dive into the more complex areas, yet haven't mastered the fundamentals. Now PowerShell is modular and you need to understand your core concepts before you can build your way up to more the complex technical areas. Secondly, it's better to use a code executor such as PowerShell ISE. It's not really good practice to use Notepad, mainly because as you are typing within Notepad, it doesn't have any autocomplete, which then means it won't give you any hints as you are typing your code. Also, in Notepad, you're not going to get anything such as debug information. So should you type in any PowerShell script whereby there's an error message, you won't get any clues as to how to troubleshoot it. And that's the beauty of PowerShell ISE. Also, it's important to understand the requirements. Quite often, as you get deep into your scripting, you may lose sight of track as to what the actual requirement is and where your end destination is. So just regularly go back to your client or look back at your original task at hand just to make sure you don't lose focus. Also make sure that the task can be completed manually first before you go about carrying out bulk operations. Quite often there are tasks where it may not necessarily allow you to be able to carry it out or may not even be possible. It's also healthy to adopt a automated mindset whereby you can automate routine processes that are quite often low value, administrative, and not necessarily contributing a significant impact. And thereby, by streamlining this with a script, you can add more value as well as being more efficient and effective in the workplace. Also, make sure throughout your script that you are adding comments. The reason is quite often that you may be fresh in your mind and you'll understand what that script is, but a few weeks down the road you may revisit it and lose sight as to what that script was about. And also, should you share it with other fellow PowerShell scripters, they will also be able to understand the context of which you've written the script. Also, it's important to repurpose your existing code or your script. The reason being you don't have to start from afresh. You've already got your repository of your knowledge, which is modular and you can use in other contexts and other applications where you are needing to build a PowerShell script. Also, best practice is to avoid aliases, but we'll cover that in more details in terms of using the tagging. We also recommend that you test with sample data. Quite often when you are extracting data from a large repository, namely Active Directory, it can take time for it to import that data rather than you getting on with the actual scripting. So by having a small sample data in a test environment, you can expedite and speed up your scripting efforts. Also, it's best to learn from other PowerShell scripters, observe what other members have actually put out there, see the different styles, see the different methodologies, and thereby you'll then develop your own style. Also, once you have established a PowerShell script, it's good to experiment in a test environment by looking at changing variables and seeing how far you can take it, making you a more well-rounded PowerShell scripter. And lastly, and most importantly, make sure that you do get the relevant help. There are quite a lot of different community and forums online. You can go to Google, obviously, as well as ChatGPT. And most importantly, practice as much as you can. As with anything, practice makes perfect.